Moving on to long ball number 3 here for Monday, June 9th. Major League Soccer continued with an abbreviated week of play, despite there being international commitments left and right, remaining with just one loss the whole season. So Vancouver bounces back from their illness. There was a bit of question with how many players were suffering from their return travels from Mexico. Weren't even sure if there's going to be enough fit players for this, but they were able to do so and win handily over the weekend. Last night, in fact.
By the way, they signed 7 players from their reserve side, from their MLS Next Pro team, to fill their roster for this game. 7. That's a lot. It was temporary, one of those temporary relief kind of things, short-term agreements. Sometimes you'll see this happen when teams play in the Open Cup and they want to give those kids an opportunity and they sign them and things like that. So they signed 7 players from WFC2, Whitecaps FC2, for this game. And you're thinking, okay, they're missing a bunch of players for international duty and illness. There's no way they beat the Sounders, right? Oh, they beat the Sounders 3-0. Now it helps that the Sounders picked up 2 red cards. Nuhutolo sent off in the 52nd minute and John Bell in the 55th, so just 3 minutes apart. Both of those red cards for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, Rob. So both those players caught trying to pull players back after they had gotten beaten. But actually, Vancouver had taken the lead before Nuhu was sent off with Javan Badwal, a 19-year-old Canadian, scoring the opening goal. They get a goal from Daniel Rios, the 30-year-old Mexican who's been around a bit. And then there's a Krylock penalty in the 88th minute to see off the Sounders. And man, credit to the Whitecaps for finding 3 points that I don't think anybody thought they were going to grab. They go top of the Supporter Shield race with this one, Rob.
Yeah, that's wild. That's definitely wild. Yeah, we weren't sure, what was going to happen, but they signed backup players. That's a funny pitch, actually, for MLS Next Pro. Hey, kid, do you want to sign for a team that in case the entire team goes down with illness, you might get a temporary contract with the big team? Tough selling points for MLS Next at times. You got to imagine for players that are really knocking on the door for the first team. But Vancouver, their only loss after 16 was when their internationals were gone during the Nations League a couple months ago. But 10 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And we were talking about them in the offseason about, it's going to be terrible. They're going to get sold, this and that. And here they are, the Supporters Shield leaders here in June. That's wild. Unpredictable MLS there.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth pointing out. This wasn't the only game, obviously, on the MLS weekend. We did have some other games, and Rob, I don't know what to say about DC United. They were missing a bunch of players too, right? They were down some key players, but again, the Whitecaps shorthanded, signing 7 kids or 7 players from their reserve team, go and beat the Sounders, and DC United at home gets absolutely rocked by the Chicago Fire 7-1. And I think, and by the way, Tom Barlow with a hat trick in that game. Tom Barlow, once upon a time, sort of the Brian White replacement, I think, is maybe the way. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
Both those guys, Red Bull players, right? And it was like, I don't think there was a lot to separate them in terms of who they were with the Red Bulls. And obviously Brian White goes to Vancouver and becomes a star and is now a U.S. men's national team player. And Tom Barlow is playing for the Chicago Fire and getting a hat trick against DC United. By the way, I think those were his, he doesn't have a ton of goals for the Fire. Let's just say that. And now you've got a situation where the Fire have been beaten by giving up 7 goals this season and scored 7 goals in a win.
Where are they? Where are the Chicago Fire at?
I mean, is that a thing that's ever happened before? Is that a thing that's ever happened before?
I feel like a couple seasons ago over in the EPL, I feel like Southampton might have had like a 9-1 loss and a 7-2 win or something like that. I do believe that there was something like that, but I don't recall that in Major League Soccer. And in so close in proximity too, that was only a few match days ago. But 7-1 insanity, and you got a feel for the 16,000 plus reported in attendance there for that game. Imagine spending your Saturday. I mean, probably a day out for a DC United game is probably a significant portion of your day dedicated to this game. And you are just punished from minute 8 it started all the way until 90+1. So it wasn't like, it was a bad half and
Yeah.
we, solidified in the second, but it was, from the looks of things, pretty miserable
Yeah.
from the get-go.
You're wondering, okay, this is the tension now. Is DC United the kind of club that excuses away this result and lets Troy Lesesne continue because we were missing a bunch of guys, or whatever, international window? Or are they a club that says, okay, that's enough of that? And I like Troy Lesesne, and we've talked about the connections between USL and MLS, and it would be great if USL really became a proving ground for coaches that can move into the Major League Soccer ranks, and Troy Lesesne did that. Now, he had to go to the Red Bulls as an assistant in between his stint in USL and being a head coach in Major League Soccer. But he did sort of, earn his stripes in the USL Championship, and it doesn't look like it's working out all that well.
Crispy Do 44 said we lost 9-0 to Man U and then won 9-0 to Leicester. Who's the we? Remind me who the we is there. But wow, what an 18-goal swing there. That's quite the full range of emotions there. So Vancouver top, Chicago Fire. That's like the shrug emoji. All in one soccer club there. So an abbreviated, I mean, we can get to why are they playing during the international windows, but that's probably a topic for another segment.
Perhaps.
But if you're watching this and you don't have the button underneath the window that says subscribed, hit that button now. We are creeping up on 2,500. We could even hit it during the show if a whole bunch of you subscribe now. You can also then take it up a notch, $3.99 a month, become an MK Ultra, become a member of the channel. And with membership, you can get priority access to videos, early access to videos, priority commenting, a lot of the comments on the screen coming from MK Ultras. You also get access to bonus content. So members are watching this, haven't seen it yet. We have a bonus video up there. We go down the memory hole and review the eventful Gold Cup final of 2011, a fun bonus video for you there. And then on top of that, you can, do super chats or thanks or anything. Donate however you wish right here. If you want to take your donations outside of the YouTube sphere, you can do it on coffee.com/morningkickaround. You can do a one-time donation or schedule something customized at your level preference. Crispy Do confirming that was in fact Southampton 9-0 one way.
They didn't win. No. They lost both those games.
Oh God!
By giving up 9 goals. Both of those were losses. That's how bad they were. Rob, you were looking for silver lining.
I was looking for silver lining. Sorry.
An
18 goal to the negative of the goal difference, much different. And my apologies. And I'd love to send some band-aids for the hurt experienced with 9 losses. Whoopsie. And going back to the admin stuff, would we get to, if you want to follow us on social media at mkickaround, X, Instagram, and Twitter, and write us a note, morningkickaround@gmail.com.